What's up guys, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my art channel. Happy Artsy Fartsy Friday and Happy New Year. Jumping into today's video, I thought what better way to start off 2018 than with a bullet journaling video. For those of you that are new here, I recently started bullet journaling towards the end of 2017 and I've taken a real interest in it. I think it's fun and it's creative and it's also a really nice way to just manage my life. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I set up my bullet journal and flipping through the spreads that I've created thus far, as well as showing you my supplies. Now, really quickly, this was my previous bullet journal. It was just a small, cheap little journal that I got on Amazon, and it served me well. I learned a lot, but I also immediately knew what I wanted to upgrade to, and that is what brings us to today's video. So in this video, I will be showing you the Happy Planner that I've migrated into. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Happy Planners, they're sold at Michael's. What's really cool about them is that they have these discs that make it really easy to remove and replace pages without having to like tear them or cut them. So it's really customizable in that way. They sell these journals with pages already in them, and this was mine from 2016. So I removed all those pages and decided to start new. And what's awesome is that they've definitely caught on to the trend with bullet journaling. So I picked up these pre-made, pre-punched sheets. It comes with 40 sheets of regular lined paper as well as 40 sheets of graph paper. Now this isn't exactly the typical bullet journaling style pages that you see, but it's really similar and it's effective in very much the same way that the bullet journal pages are. And these were fairly inexpensive as well. All of their planner stuff was on sale at the end of 2017, so I grabbed a couple of these, and that is what I'm going to be using in the first part of my spread. Now for Christmas, I also got my own Happy Planner punch, so in the future I will be able to make my own pages as well as my own covers and dividers. So as the year progresses, I will show you guys that as well. But let's go ahead and start flipping through my bullet journal, and I will cover the supplies I used as it comes up in the spreads. That way I'm not just bombarding you with a bunch of information, and that way the video is not super long. So I love the cover of this bullet journal. It's really nice and glossy. It's really sturdy and durable. I will get into the cons about this sort of planner as well. First off, it is a little annoying to have these jiggly little rings here. They're a little bit bulky right now compared to how thick the journal is, but as this bulks up, I imagine that that will be less of an issue. It can be a little hard to get used to turning the pages as well because sometimes it'll get stuck. But let's see the first part of my bullet journal here. So I love the aesthetic of this first page. I think it looks so good. So I love that the inside cover is this black and white polka dot design. I have my little key up here, which is typical of pretty much all bullet journals. I don't really do anything particularly different there. I have a little color reference here for all of the different pens that I use, and I'll break those down later on. I have a little envelope that I've kind of glued in here just to store little things. For example, I have some little rulers that would be great for making different spreads. And I have some little yellow post-it tabs as well. These are just really nice to mark certain pages. And this is from Daiso. Daiso has a lot of really awesome bullet journaling supplies, you guys. So even if you don't use this particular planner and you just really like stationery stuff, Daiso is the place to go. Also, let me quickly apologize for my voice. I'm getting over a sinus infection. I know, rockin' way to start 2018, but if my voice sounds a little bit deep and sultry, that's why. On to my 2018 cover page. I just wanted a really cool design to start off the year. I want to keep it simple for now. I may color this later on, I'm not sure, but I just thought that this was like a nice way to ring in the year with some flowers. That was sort of a symbol on my old bullet journal that I really liked, so I wanted to carry that on into this bullet journal as well. So I just went ahead and drew these by hand and then filled in the black with my Pentel Pocket Brush pen. I've been a fan of this pen for years. It's not a super beginner-friendly brush pen. It's got a really long, flexible brush tip on it that can be a little bit hard to get used to if you're not used to a super flexible brush. But I do really like it, and it makes it super quick and easy to fill in large areas. Now, onto the yearly spread. I'm not completely done decorating this, but it's getting there, and I think it's looking really, really cool. So the yearly spread, or future log as it is sometimes referred to in the bullet journaling community, is something that I did not have in my previous bullet journal just because I started my bullet journal so late into the year. But it was definitely something that I wanted to have in this bullet journal, and it's just a place where I can look at the entire year and map out certain important dates like national holidays, birthdays, and just certain events in my life that I know well ahead of time, like certain concerts and trips that I have planned. And then down here are some stickers from the Happy Planner sticker book that I got. I guess that's what you could call these. Any of the Happy Planner accessories are under this Create 365 title, and they sell a bunch of these sticker books. I have a couple of them. This one is actually for the larger Happy Planner, and I have the original size one, but some of these stickers are still totally usable, and they have all different kinds. Just to kind of flip through and show you really quickly, they're just a lot of really fun colors, and you can create all sorts of themed, exciting spreads. I also have these sticker booklets also from Michaels, but not for any particular planner, just sort of basic stickers. And they have different themes. So they have ones for fitness, ones for cooking, one for moms. I have the lifestyle and budgeting one, and I do find them to be pretty useful. So you will see these stickers throughout the planner in what I've created thus far. So if you're curious about where any of the stickers are from, they're all for Michaels, and you can pick them up. So yeah, those are really, really cool. Then we have obviously the second half of 2018. I did not forget the other 6 months of the year. And this also kind of helps me plan a theme for each month. So that was also something I didn't really do very well in my last planner. I didn't really have a clear color scheme or theme to the month, and this year I can do that. Also, just to quickly talk about the supplies that I used on this page for the month headers, I used either my Pilot double-ended brush pen or my Tombow brush pen, and they look like this. I don't know the full names of these pens, but the black tips on both of these pens are very, very similar. The Tombow one just has one black side, one gray side, and I've done a review of these on my channel, so if you want to check that out, I will link the video down below. But they perform very much the same way, so I use them like interchangeably pretty much. So that is what I use to make the bold headings. And then to add a little pop of color, I used these Brilliant Brush washable markers, and I found these at my local Marshalls. So if you have like a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx or a Tuesday Morning near you, you can find some pretty cool stuff in their stationery sections, and that is where I picked these up. They're about 10 bucks, which I don't think is too bad, and I really love the way that they feel in my hand. They're really nice to use. So that is what I used to just sort of add little pops of color above each month. Now on to my social media growth tracker for the year. I've really flip-flopped on how I want to track my social media growth. Sometimes I did it monthly, sometimes I did it like monthly, mid-month, and I don't know. So I flip-flopped a lot, and I think this is going to be the simplest way for me to just track growth. And growth meaning like number of followers, so I'm not really going based on views. I've tried to track like income and stuff, but it's just really inconsistent and not entirely accurate with the analytics online. So I decided to just kind of make it really, really simple. These are the 6 social medias that I'm going to be tracking for the year. I think these are the ones that I want to focus on most of all. And I have the 12 months here along the side. And then each square has 2 sections, so I can list the number of followers at the beginning of the month. And then on the bottom, I will either put the number of followers at the end of the month or just a plus or minus of how much I grew from the previous month, which is probably what I'll end up doing just because the end of the month will be the same number as the beginning of the next month. So it would make more sense to do just a simple plus or minus of the follower gain or loss from that month. I just think that that makes a little bit more sense, if you get what I mean. So that is how I'm going to be tracking social media growth. I think it's pretty simple and straightforward, at least in my opinion. And now on to this page. You can see this is the first lined notebook page that I have so far. And this is just for YouTube video ideas. This is basically the equivalent of like a brain dump page, if you will. And this is just where I can put different video ideas or different series that I have, just kind of jot them down so that I know I can always refer back to this if I need a video idea for the week. So, and I have this blank on the next page too, so I can continue that when I fill up the first side. This is just my school schedule for the spring semester. Not going to spend too much time on that page. Here's my 2018 goals page. I did a video all about my 2018 resolutions and my 2017 recap. So if you want to check that out, that's on the channel as well. And basically I just have all of my goals here and some little stickers with some motivational quotes that I thought were really cute. So that is it. And there's obviously room to add and grow on this page as well. Now I have a when did I last page. I had this in my last bullet journal and I wish I had utilized it more than I did because these are things that I just always forget and I need to be better about kind of staying on top of. So I have, it's a little hard to see on camera just because I kind of colored over the words, but I have here change contacts, change toothbrush, wash makeup brushes, donate clothes, change my Clarisonic brush head. For those of you that don't know, that's a skincare tool. Wash car, change oil, and then I have one blank one in case I find something else to add. Maybe like when did I last change my mascara or something. And then I have these little blank spots here where I can write a date, as you can see here, when I last did that task. Because these are tasks that I do fairly infrequently, so it's a little bit hard to remember how long you've gone without doing it. So I find this to be super, super helpful, and I'm really, really happy that I have this in my bullet journal. Now we're on to the monthly spread for January. I had this page blank for a more permanent spread. I don't want this to be a monthly spread. That way, when the month of January has come and gone, I can either remove this spread or move it to the back of the bullet journal, and I won't be removing something more permanent. So all of the permanent spreads will be remaining in my bullet journal throughout the year, whereas the monthly spreads can move around. So for the month of January, it looks pretty boring right now. What I have here are just some like tasks that I need to do this month and just some important reminders. And I've really been liking the horizontal orientation of the monthly spreads. I've been doing this in my last bullet journal as well, and I think I'm going to continue that throughout this year. Now I have my trackers, my monthly trackers. I'm splitting them up into two, just like I did last month in my old bullet journal. But I have my healthy habit tracker, which just tracks kind of how many steps I get, how much water I drink, how many hours I'm sleeping, things like that. And I can track that throughout the month. And then I have my social media tracker where I can track how often I post on each of these various social medias. So I think that's just like a nice way to stay on top of my life and look back at a month and see how much I actually accomplished. It's kind of motivating, and it's also really telling about what areas in my life I need to improve on. Now on to my YouTube schedule page. This isn't really specific for the month of January. As you can see, I'm kind of dipping into February as well. But I figure I will just add one of these pages as needed. Especially because for 2018, I'm only switching to weekly videos, so this is pretty straightforward now compared to my previous YouTube schedules where they were a little bit more hectic because I was posting 3 times a week. But I just thought this was simple, and the colors in this spread are reminiscent of the channel art revamp that I want to do for 2018. I want to kind of change all my channel art and make it very cohesive but not quite as bright and obnoxious, because I love the yellow but it's a little harsh on the eyes. So I think I want to make yellow the accent color and this sky blue the dominant color. So that's just some kind of general inspiration for that, as well as a couple of video ideas. And what's awesome is that the pen I used for this spread and to write in the titles is actually erasable. So if something changes, I can just erase it. So I've been really liking that. This is the Frixon Clicker Erasable Pen. I also got this at Michael's. So I've really been liking that, and it makes it a lot less stressful to feel like I'm not totally committed to any of these ideas and that it could still change. Alright, so now we're on to the weekly spreads, and because I don't start classes for a couple more weeks, this is pretty boring right now. I have a little checklist here for the expenses for the month. Then I have just a couple of things that I need to get done this week. I have a little to-do list column and a little next week column. The weekly spreads have changed a little bit from my previous bullet journal in that I have consolidated the Saturday and Sunday column into 2 smaller columns. And I have kind of more space on the sides. So I'm really liking that. Compared to my old bullet journal, these are quite a bit bigger. So I have a lot more room on each page. But one of the things that I did keep the same for my previous bullet journal is that the weekly spreads go Monday to Sunday rather than Sunday to Saturday. And that way I can combine the weekends, and the weekdays are just a little bit larger, so I have more room to fill in those tasks, especially once school starts. Just the next weekly spread, very much the same. Obviously, since I haven't really gotten to this point in the month yet, these are pretty empty, and I can decorate them with stickers and fun stuff sort of as I get to them, but it's not a huge priority for me now. I think part of what will motivate me to bullet journal more frequently throughout the week is that I can decorate each week as I get to it, rather than doing that once a month, because that kind of takes all the fun out of it. And this is the last weekly spread that I have, so that completes it for this bullet journaling video. So I am going to end it here, drink some tea, munch on some cough drops, and try and feel better. But I hope you guys liked this video. I know it wasn't that in-depth onto how I make my spreads, but I think my spreads are pretty simple. But if you guys have any questions for future bullet journaling videos, I will try and do one of these once a month here on my channel going forward. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.